Hello, welcome to our broadcast today. Welcome. Today we have an important topic that we want to cover. We are going to talk about effective communication in marriage and relationships. Why do we need to talk about this? I'm going to tell you 5 reasons why you need to hone your communication if you are in any kind of relationship, and we all are. I'm also going to share 7 reasons or 7 steps you can take to improve your communication. So having said that, the first point is, what is communication? You're asking me, what do I mean by communication? What do I mean by effective communication? Communication is how we exchange information, how we share our opinion, and demand our rights, how we communicate with people. That's communication. We do that through our body language, through our text, by writing. We also do it by verbal, just as I'm doing here. Those are forms of communication. So we go to what is effective communication? Effective communication is simply the communication that does its job. In other words, that accomplishes its goal, that achieves what the speaker has in mind. So if you have in mind to exchange information, pass along information, effective communication would be communication style that delivers the goods, that exchanges information, that passes along information. If your goal is to express your opinion, effective communication is choosing the right platform, the right language, the right words to express your opinion. Whether you want to express it forcefully or you want to express it diplomatically, however you want to express your opinion, effective communication is what helps you choosing the right means to be sure that you communicate what you have in mind. So that's effective communication. So some people might say, why do we need effective communication in relationships? I'll give you 5 of them. Number 1, relationship starts, continues, and ends with communication or without communication. In other words, relationships start with communication, it slows down without communication, or increases with more communication, and it dies with 0 communication. So ultimately, communication is the engine that runs relationship, including marriage. Think about it. When you started, the first thing you did was communicate, whether it was body language, verbal, text, however we communicated. And then we got to the point to, can I have your number? May I call you? And then we got to the point is, don't ever call me. Don't ever call me. We get to the point where we block someone because we don't want communication to flow. So communication is the engine that runs relationship. Communication is also important in identifying our values, in saying, here are my values, here are my interests, here are my P's and Q's, here are the things I love, here are the things I hate. So it helps us to identify who we are, excuse me, and identify the people that we are associated with. If we are family members, it's through communication that we say we are husband and wife, we are family members, we are brothers and sisters. So it's effective for identity, identification of values, and expression of interest. Why else is it important? Communication is important because in relationships, we are always striving to achieve a goal or a project. The simplest one is to be happy. The biggest one for many people is to build a skyscraper, to build a business. Whatever we want to do, communication is important for us to continue to pursue our relationship goals. and pursue our marital goals. So that's how we say, this is where we are. That's how we identify your strength. That's how you use your strength. So communication is essential in relationship for those reasons. Why else is it important? Communications is important because relationships and marriage is like a system. The subsystems have to communicate and exchange information. Where are you now? Are you picking up the baby? Are you not picking up the baby? What are you going to do? When are you coming back? All those are communication channels and exchanges of information that help us to locate where our members are and what they are doing when they are coming home and all that. And of course, we know that when those things stop going, when we stop asking, where are you now? When are you coming home? It means that the relationship is in trouble. It's in trouble. It's about to end if we are not effectively communicating. So those are the importance of communication. We come down to you saying, how do I improve my relationship so that I can effectively communicate with my team members, with my spouse, my children, my parents, my grandparents, my friends, my co-workers. All those are different kinds of relationships that depend on communication to flourish, to thrive, or to die. So even when we want to kill relationships, we use communication to do that. So what do you do in order to improve your relationship? There are 7 points. Number 1, know yourself. Know your communication style. Be very familiar with your strengths and your weaknesses. If you're good at texting, know that. If you're good at talking, know that. If you're good at body language, know that. If you're good, however you're good, know that. If you're a passive communicator, be very familiar with that. If you're an aggressive communicator, know that. If you are an assertive communicator, know that you have the strength to communicate. So know yourself. That's the first law of any kind of project pursuit. Knowing who you are, counting your strength and knowing your weaknesses. So that's going to help you to choose how to communicate when you need them, to choose whether you need to really hone it or just blot it out. So know yourself. Number 2, know your audience. Pay very close attention to who you're going to talk to. We do these things anyway, but we're not intentional about it. If you're going to communicate to your children, know that you're talking to 5-year-old. Know that you're talking to 10-year-old. Know that you're talking to 20-year-old. Know the generational differences, the cultural differences, and speak their language. Understand how they see the world and speak to their sight, their perception, not your perception. If you speak from your own perception, you're going to confuse your audience. Find the right language for your audience. That behooves us to find out about our spouse or the person who is closest to us, our children. What is the language of communication that they understand? If you have a few children, you know one of them likes to be yelled at. Unless you yell, they're not going to do what you want them to do. Maybe the other one whittles and withers when you yell. So that's telling you 2 different communication styles that have to be used. One, if you are passive aggressive in communication, you're not going to get it. The other one, if you're passive aggressive, you shut them down. So you have to alternate how to communicate with those 2. So know yourself, know your audience. The 3rd thing is keep your communication goal in mind. Oftentimes, we let our emotions overrun things. So we want to keep our communication goal in mind. What am I trying to do? I want to sit down and talk to my daughter about doing her homework. She has not done her homework 2 times and she's getting 0 on that. Now, I'm very angry. I'm very frustrated with that. But I'm not, if I start by communicating frustration, I missed the point with my daughter. The goal is to tell her that doing your homework is very important. So my frustration is valid, but it's a secondary goal. It's not the main reason why we are talking. I'm gonna go to why I'm frustrated, so we address that. And then we can talk about my frustration. Keep your goal of communication in mind when you're communicating. Don't lose it. It's easy to lose. Sometimes we lose it by their reaction, by the things we get back from them initially. Keep your composure. Number 4, learn to listen and wait for your turn. That's probably the hardest thing in communication. Learning to listen actively, learning to wait your turn in order to speak. Oftentimes, when people are speaking, we're already thinking how to respond. And in focusing on how to respond, we miss key elements of what they are saying. If we listen carefully, there may not be any need to respond. If they've made the proposal, made the conclusion, there's nothing more to say other than, I hear you. But sometimes we jump in when they are just making a proposal. We're not waiting them to land because what they are saying is not ringing well in our ears. Learn to listen, wait for your turn. Effective and active listening is probably 80% of talking and communication. If you can hear him, you can know how to respond to him. Or her, for that matter. Number 5, focus on facts and not feelings. What happened as opposed to how it made you feel. That's easier said than done. Focus on facts. It's like the previous one that I just shared. Focus on your goal, but this focus on facts, not feeling. Try very hard not to start with how you feel. Anytime you start with, you made me angry. I'm really angry right now. I'm mad right now. I'm frustrated right now. We are going to get a second question coming. What's frustrating you? Why are you mad? Why are you angry? Because you haven't said anything. You've said that how you feel, you haven't said why. And that why is more important than how you feel. Because unless we address why you're feeling that way, I'm going to do it again. And you're going to feel that way again. So we start with, when you do this, it frustrates me. Now we have started with facts, we're ending with feeling. If you can even do that, just stay with facts for a while. Come back to feeling. As hard as it is to do that, start from facts, stay with facts, and probably end with how it made you feel. For instance, someone, husband or spouse, goes to work, they haven't called, they're running late, they're running really late. Now you're concerned, you're pacing, you're wondering, are they okay? And the door opens, they walk in, they are perfectly okay. They're on the phone chatting, enjoying, while you are at home wondering what happened to them. That's gonna make you mad and crazy. And then you go, whenever you come late, it makes me really, what you do now makes me really angry. Then we start talking about your anger. Why are you angry? I was just running late. I ran into traffic. Is that why you're angry? Then we miss the point. The point is, why didn't you tell me you're in the traffic? I wish you had told me you're running late. That way I wouldn't worry about you. The worry should come later, not first. Otherwise, we miss an important opportunity to make a point and to correct a point. So, and then number 7, resolve your internal conflict. What do I mean by that? It's kind of like know yourself. If you know that you are angry, if you know that some things frustrate you, if you know that some things really make you angry, that's an internal conflict. That's peculiar to you. If you know that whenever they call you a certain name, it makes you run crazy, and the things that come out of your mouth are not going to be holy. So know that and resolve your relationship with that particular thing. Maybe there's a reason why when they call you a name, you really react to it more than you should. And the way I process that with my clients is, look, I don't care what you call me. What matters is what I answer to. If you call me Mr. John, it's not my name. The only way anybody gonna pay attention is if I say, why are you calling me Mr. John? If I ignore you, I act like I didn't hear you, people are gonna think you're crazy because I'm not John and they know I'm not John. And now you're calling me John. Maybe you have memory problem. So, and that's it. So if I have problem with people calling me names, perhaps I have reasons with being called names that I need to resolve. If I have problem with people challenging my authority, and whenever there's a semblance of challenge, a semblance of confrontation, we rise up. A semblance of questioning my reasoning or my wisdom, we rise up and we fight back. If that's my issue, maybe I have low self-esteem. I need to resolve that. And I need to be aware of that and resolve them so that when I communicate, it's going to be pure and effective. So those are the points. Remember what we said, 7 steps. 1, know yourself. 2, know your audience. 3, pay attention to your goal. 4, listen, learn to listen. And then 5, what is 5? Focus on facts and not feelings. 6, avoid the 4 horsemen. I didn't talk about that. And then 7, resolve your internal conflict. What are the 4 horsemen? The 4 horsemen that needs to be avoided is contempt. What are the other one? Content, criticism, defensiveness, and stonewalling. I'm going to just talk about stonewalling. Stonewalling is silent treatment, not saying anything. That's communication. You're saying a lot without saying anything, but you are sending wrong signals. People know that something is going on inside. They don't know what's going on inside. Perhaps sometimes we're saying, I don't want to talk right now. Instead of acting it, we can say, can we talk about this later? It wouldn't really be holy what would come out of me. This is not the best time for me to talk. Can we talk about this later? Those are effective communication. They are communication that accomplishes the goal that you, the communicator, set out to do. So pay attention to this, use it, and it will help you in relationship and otherwise. God bless you. See you next time.